So I was wondering how you first got involved with the project.
Well, the ACO approached me on the basis of doing experimental films, remixable media for a while, and they were looking for audience engagement to reach younger audiences, and they had this idea that perhaps a media installation could do the trick. They'd seen sound pieces and they weren't sure if it was possible to do something with video, so they commissioned a week of research for me to come up with a concept. The project started in the wake of Avatar, so it was the point when 3D was kind of at its height of, everyone was excited about 3D. So as a violinist myself, I thought, well, we can actually do in our pilot test to see if the 3D adds to the performance from an educational perspective. And
so how many musicians were you trying to film at once in stereo, but as I say, at once separately in the sense they weren't in the same shot?
We had 13 musicians, 13 stereo camera rigs. And it was on a soundstage at Fox. We had 13 DSLRs on 13 people. And we did a pilot previously with 4 musicians to work out the nuts and bolts and also test whether it was worth doing this project in the way that I'd conceived. And one of the key things was we needed enough separation in the recording so that we could allow the audience remix experience to work, but at the same time we had to have them close enough so that they could perform as an ensemble. The ideas that I originally had about we'd use click tracks in a studio one by one, which would have made our shoot a lot more simple, it was never going to fly because that's not what orchestras do. They don't actually ever work that way, and so as a performance and a representation of their work, we were never going to be able to separate them. So it was a huge challenge.
So you got green screen down either side. Who was the cinematographer? Because they became really instrumental in
Paul Nicola.
Right, and they went on to become visual effects supervisor, right?
That's right.
You said you were shooting this with SLRs. How are you shooting that in stereo?
Paul went away and thought about the problem and came back and demonstrated with 2 bathroom mirrors. He said, look, I think we can use, because we're only capturing like full body.
Yeah, like a vertical slice basically.
Vertical slice. We only need half the frame. So we can actually use our own mirror rig. We can have the left and the right eye on an HD plate. It was locked convergence. He had a system with like this aluminium frame that he could just do some calculations on set, but we basically opted for really maximizing the stereo effect because it wasn't like a feature-length film, it was a half an hour thing. So we've actually exaggerated the stereo effect quite a bit.
So you've got all the material and you now need to have that interactive. This is where I got really interested because you want to get it interactive not only for the vision but the sound, of course.
Absolutely.
And you want to place the sound relative, because describe the environment and how the sound shifts as I basically fade up and down musicians.
Okay, so you walk into a space and it's basically a hexagonal array where you walk in through the 8th side and then you've got 7 HD displays with a ceiling rig projecting image of two musicians per screen, and they're each standing in this lovely spotlight, a cone of light. And in the center of the room, you have what is essentially an iPad stand. We call it the music stand or the controller stand. And on screen, there is an image, like an avatar of each player. And as each piece changes, the display changes to reflect who's playing what parts. And the audience can swipe their finger across the musicians. And if you select Richard Tognetti on his first violin, all the other musicians will fade to these beautiful silhouettes. And the audio mix will adjust in real time as well.
But it's a surround audio mix in the sense that if they're disappearing off my left, it's off my left that I lose their sort of sound, right?
Absolutely. So it's an 8.1 sound system. The actual sound system is on the current kit is more expensive than the visual solution. So the kit is 7 screens, 7 consumer grade 3D projectors, but it's all powered off 2 PCs. You've got a video PC with 2 NVIDIA K5000 cards, so pushing out 8 HD displays, and the real-time engine is Touch Designer for all the show control and controlling basically the canvas, and the raw audio is piped via fiber to a second PC for digital signal processing. And the interactive sound design, which is one of the secret ingredients to the piece, we've created something that 6-year-olds can mash the controllers but they can't make the ACO sound bad. Because Touch Designer and a lot of the other engines that we did the pilot was done with Unity, and then we moved to Touch Designer just for handling the larger video canvas. Because all these engines have native support for each Oculus as it comes out, it's been really quick for us to build prototypes?
Well, I mean, if we think about it, you've got green screen, stereo, special camera rigs, compositing, volumetrics, installations, 8.1 surround, interactivity, apps. Oh my God, there's almost no tech that you don't have. It's really impressive. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us about it.
Oh, thanks.